Hello and welcome to Theme Park Worldwide. In this video I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the Swarm, a B&M wing coaster that's located at Thorpe Park here in the United Kingdom. Now the Swarm opened in March 2012 and it was actually the second of the Bolliger Mabillard wing coasters to be built. The first one opened the year before in 2011 at Gardaland in Italy, and the ride itself is called Raptor. Gardaland is another Merlin owned park, so it's actually two Merlin parks that they got the first two B&M wing coasters. Now in terms of the positioning of the Swarm in Thorpe Park, this is something that they really thought about with the design of the ride, the overall look of it from the other areas. Of course, when you're walking into Thorpe Park, you go through the entrance turnstiles and you cross the bridge and you can see the Swarm off to the right hand side. It's really building up that anticipation for the ride. Of course, you walk out and you see the whole skyline of the park in front of you. You know, saw the ride off to the left, Colossus, Nemesis Inferno, Stealth, and then you see the Swarm that sits there beautifully in the skyline over at the right. That's something that I've always loved with Thorpe Park. The positioning of the rides is wonderful. It really is. And they're all just sort of in this semicircle in front of you when you first walk into the park. And then, you know, you've got other viewpoints of the Swarm that really make it as well. Some of my favourites, the Stealth Plaza. I'm just generally in the queue for Stealth, looking across at the Swarm. Tidal Wave is another great viewpoint. You stand here looking at Tidal Wave, the Swarm's in the background, and of course you've got the boats coming down on Tidal Wave, creating that huge splash, and then the coaster just emerging behind it, especially when you've got the sun in the right place as well. It's a beautiful place to watch the Swarm. You know, and you get some great views from on some of the other rides as well. When you're on Stealth, if you look out to the left, you can get a great view. The lift hill of Nemesis Inferno, that's got a great view of the ride. So in terms of the overall off-ride look of the Swarm, I think it's fantastic from around the whole park. Never mind when you actually get over to the Swarm Island, so to speak, and you know, you walk fully underneath the layout of the coaster. You look straight up at the lift hill and it makes you realise, actually, this is a really tall coaster in terms of, you know, if you're the guest just walking into that park and you look up to it and walking into the area, you think, blimey, you know, it's a big ride. You know, a lot of the time you don't get to walk directly under the lift hills of coasters. They can be just off to the side, or you know, maybe the queue line is, but the area, you know, you don't walk under the lift hill a lot of the time. Whereas with the Swarm, that really makes it for me. The positioning of the ride is incredible, and of course, you know, that goes on with the whole theme of this ride, why they wanted to create this own mini area for the Swarm. So yeah, what exactly is the theme for the Swarm? I mean, you know, it's like you're set in this disaster zone. You know, you've got all these various different buildings that are falling apart. You've got like a helicopter. Of course, you've got a huge aeroplane that's crashed, you know, and you've got the wing just sticking out onto the path. Along with that, you've got like emergency vehicles there, such as a fire engine. There's a telephone box that just keeps ringing and no one's answering it, and it's just been ripped out of the ground. So you've got a lot going on in terms of the storyline to this, like this disaster zone. And when you're in the queue for the Swarm, you got all various TV screens around you with news broadcasts coming in. You know, like the end is coming. This Swarm is making its way through. But what exactly, you know, is happening? You know, you basically sitting, the whole theme is you're sitting on this ride vehicle, of course, with it being the coaster trains for this example. You know, and you're going through this destroyed world, sort of sitting on this mechanical vehicle that's flying through the air. And at night, it's got them red LED lights on there, like the eyes, you know, and it's this vehicle that, you know, it's very mechanical, but it's like this living monster as well that's going through all these buildings. And I like the mystery behind it because there's no definite answer to that, but it's like everybody looks at the Swarm's trains and you think, you know, wow, like you've got this monster going round and it's causing all this destruction, but nobody really knows the backstory too much to it, you know, and I really like that. It's a bit mysterious in a way. You know, and in terms of that, so you've already had this impact walking towards the ride, and then you enter the queue line. It all starts off, you know, of course, you've got the Swarm sign that's a little bit wonky on the entrance, a little bit battered around the side. You know, it's all them little things that make it. And then you go into this queue line that is a bit of a cattle pen. However, you know, it has got a lot of theming around, like satellite dishes. You've got the church station just off to the side, and then you look up at the coaster, you know, like you've got the incline loop that is literally directly above you when you're in the queue line. So it kind of makes up for it. There's various different extensions to the Swarm as well. There's one that actually goes up some steps through part of the church that's falling down and to another little bit of cattle pen queue line at the back. But you know, it is mostly all themed. You've got these satellite dishes, like I say, you've got the TVs that are playing the storyline really behind the ride, and news reports coming in, you know, about aeroplanes that have crashed and all that kind of stuff that builds up the storyline for this ride. So I really like the theme of it. I think the theme of the Swarm is great, and that's before you've even talked about the coaster itself. Just the theming and all the props around. It's one of the best themed coasters in the UK. I mean, I do rate the Swarm really highly, as you're going to find out throughout the rest of this video. And I'm looking forward to reading the comments and seeing your thoughts on the Swarm, because in a way it's a bit of a controversial ride. Some people aren't a big fan of the Swarm. It had a lot of mixed reactions when it opened in 2012, but there's also a lot of people like me that really enjoy it. And then you got a few people on the fence, unsure. So I'm looking forward to reading the comments. But yeah, you know, it's one of them rides that the theme is really, really impressive, and there's just so much going on all the way around it. So yeah, once you've sort of made your way towards the station, you've got to pick if you want to go on the left hand side or the right hand side. Of course, as it's a wing coaster, you know, you've got to decide at this point which side do you want to go on. You know, and they do offer quite a bit of a different experience depending on what side you're on. However, each of the 2 trains on the Swarm can seat 28 riders. There can be 14 riders on each side across 7 rows, and there's 2 guests per row. And it's one of those, isn't it, when you go on a wing coaster, everybody wants to be on the outer seat because, you know, you're more exposed to the elements. However, you know, on the Swarm, you do still enjoy it if you're on the inner seat, like other B&M wing coasters, but it is a much better experience if you do get on the outer seat of the wing. So you can just experience it all, you know, a lot more, and you're a lot closer to some of the near-miss elements as you're making your way throughout the ride. So anyway, you've picked your side that you're going to go on. You're in this wonderful station. It's like this church without a roof on, you know, and it's got this ambulance that's sort of tipped upside down in front of you. That's all part of the operator's cabin up there. So that's all really well themed. And then you start to climb up the 127-foot tall lift hill, and the views are spectacular. If you're sitting on the left-hand side, you can actually see over to London, the Shard, the tallest building in the UK. You can see that over in the distance. Heathrow Airport, you can see all of that. On the right hand side, you get views all across Thorpe Park, Stealth, Nemesis Inferno, Colossus, Saw the Ride. You can see them all from that right hand side as you're making your way up to the top. And like I say, you make your way up to 127 feet above Thorpe Park, and the views are stunning no matter which side that you are on. At this point, the track then twists 180 degrees, so you're upside down and into the dive drop, which is my favourite part of the ride on the Swarm. Like I said, the overall experience I love to bits, but in terms of the actual coaster elements itself, the dive drop is my favourite part of the Swarm because you're going really slow through it and you just hang there. You've got like the wing over drops on some of the other wing coasters that were built, and you go through them much faster. With the Swarm, I like how you go through it nice and slow and you just put your hands in the air and you can just hang there, and it's that amazing feeling as you make your way down that huge drop and under the wing of the crashed plane. So that works as a really good head chopper element. You know, you've got to bear in mind how the trains are designed on B&M wing coasters. You know, you are lower down at the side, you've got the track in the middle with the train sort of sat on top of it. You're down at the sides here, so it means that theming can get away with being a little bit closer. And you going under that plane wing, you feel like, blimey, you know, you just want to put your hands down. Even though you watch it from off-ride, you're nowhere near it, but it's just, you know, it's just that feel of it that really adds to it. And then of course you make your way up into a 100-foot tall 0G roll, another wonderful element of the ride. The fact it's so tall as well, and you go through it so gracefully, so slow, you know, and you're just hanging there in your seat. And you know, it's a great element. For me, you know, the left-hand side of the Swarm is probably a little bit better than the right. However, they're both really enjoyable. But that back left seat's going through that 0G roll, 100 foot in the air. You can just see everybody over at Stealth, you know, give them a wave. It just takes it really gracefully. You know, I do really, really like that part of the ride. Following on from that point, you then go through a Billboard. Again, another huge near-miss element. that wasn't an original part of the ride in 2012. That was put in the following year when there were some other changes made to the ride, including Brave It Backwards. So this is the point where, you know, I was thinking, oh, you know, how's this going to work? Obviously, the Swarm didn't really, you know, be received that well in 2012. So they tried Brave It Backwards. That lasted until 2015, and it meant that the back two rows on either side were actually turned so you're facing backwards. It was an interesting experience, but it wasn't great in my opinion. The coaster is much better facing forwards, how it was designed to be, and you know, a lot of the near miss elements had no impact, did they? You know, because you'd see them afterwards, so it made no point for me. But it was more of a marketing thing what they tried. But yeah, you know, I thought, as we mentioned the billboard and bringing that in, I thought I'll mention the backwards, but that's no longer a feature, and it hasn't been for quite a few years now. Thankfully, it's much better without it, in my opinion. So, you know, you've gone through this big billboard with all this writing on, and, you know, it just adds to the theme. Like, that's the thing of this ride. In terms of the theming, there was nothing else quite like it in the UK. I mean, Wicker Man's kind of come in now and maybe topped it a little bit, but in terms of what there is around the ride, Wicker Man's not got that much compared to the Swarm, really. So it's one of them. It depends what you enjoy. So yeah, you know, you've gone through that, and then you start to make your way up into the incline loop, you know, which is 75 foot tall, really nice part of the ride. One of the more intense sections, actually, of the ride, especially going up into it and coming out of it. Again, when you get to the top of the incline loop, you know, it takes you quite gracefully. I think that's the thing with the Swarm, you know, it's not a fast coaster at all. It's really not. You've got to think, if you like a high intense thrill ride, this isn't for you. It's more of a relaxing ride with some really good hang time, some good elements, and the near misses that add to it. So, you know, it all depends on what you enjoy with a coaster with this one. You then make your way out of that incline loop into a low section that goes over the water. You got like a water effect that comes up there when it's working. Some of the effects are a little bit unreliable these days. And if you're on that right hand side, you know, you're really close to the water. You can just put your hand out. You feel like you're going to touch the water, which is a nice feel. I've actually had my hand like sprinkled a little bit sometimes, you know, just from the water effect going off, which is quite cool. You got the helicopter in there as well. That's really nice. And then you go up into a corkscrew. Again, another fantastic element on this ride. You know, it's not my favourite, but, you know, it is still a great element of the Swarm that makes up this layout. You know, it might not be the longest coaster out there, but it's got a hell of a lot packed in. You know, there's a lot going on with the overall experience and the coaster itself. It may have a short layout, but blimey, you know, it has got a lot going for it, especially, you know, with all the theming and near misses around. You then head over this fire engine that's just at the side there, you know, and that does act as a fire effect every so often as well. Again, it's a little bit unreliable these days, but when it does work, it is gorgeous, especially at night. And then you bank to the left, you've got a really good near miss now. It's like the side of a tower of the church that's all come away, and you bank to the left through that, and if you're on that left hand seat, that's spectacular, especially on the back row. And then you go over into this inline twist that's actually over the station, which is amazing. So when you're in the station, you just hear the train coming, all the screams of the riders that just echoes down into this abandoned church that's been destroyed, you know, and it's brilliant, like the overall feel of that. So yeah, it's another good element. You've flown out your seat, and it's quite fast going through that. You know, in terms of the other inversions on the ride, takes them really slow. With that final inversion on the Swarm, you know, it takes it really quick. And on that left seat especially, you whip round, and I really do like the feel of that there, you know, especially because you've had them other inversions that are slow. Going into that final one with some speed really makes it for me. Then following on from that, of course, you're into the mid-course brake run. Again, that's not really a mid-course, because all you do then is bank to the left and then down into the main brake run itself before going back into the station. But yeah, you know, in terms of my favourite elements, like I say, it's that first drop that is fantastic, that I do really enjoy. Along with that, the 0G roll as well is awesome. Now, like I say, it's not the most intensive rides out there, but the reason that I rank it so highly and you know, really don't have much negative to say about the Swarm is because of all the theming, and it's a complete package. You know, I love intense rides, but I can appreciate something that's more about the experience, and that is exactly what the Swarm is at Thorpe Park. It's a full experience. I feel like people would have appreciated it more if it had had a pre-show explaining a little bit more about what was happening. I thought that, you know, especially with what they did with Wicker Man a few years later at Alton Towers, you know, even going back to the Swarm and adding a pre-show would add a lot to it. You know, some negatives really, what I can really think of is the finale. It would have been nice if you'd have gone through that inline twist and then gone into something else, even if it had just been a bit of an airtime hill or something before, you know, just going straight into that mid-course break run there. I would have liked to have seen some more. But other than that, you know, I wasn't a fan when they did the Brave It backwards at all. You know, in fact, my love for the Swarm went down a little bit there, because my favourite seats are at the back, and when it was facing the other way, it just wasn't an enjoyable experience and it took away from it. The only good thing about that was a cool view of the lift hill and the coaster, you know, because of where it was all positioned. But other than that, I think it's much better how it is now. Hopefully they don't go and ruin it, in my opinion, and do the backwards. But likewise, these are all my opinions. These are my reviews and thoughts. I want to know yours, because I know the Swarm's a bit controversial. I know there's some people that think, oh no, it's not even anywhere near my top 10 coasters in the UK. Other people, it's the favourite. So I would love to know, what are your thoughts on the Swarm at Thorpe Park? Comment down below on this video. I always read all the comments here on Theme Park Worldwide, and I would love to know. In terms of the park, you know, that was 2012. It was the last major coaster investments at Thorpe Park. So, you know, hopefully we're due something soon down there. Like, we've got to see something else. I mean, Alton Towers has had the Smiler and Wicker Man since that. So, you know, hopefully we're going to see something again soon down at Thorpe Park coaster-wise. And I might have to film a bit of a video showing my predictions and future thoughts on Thorpe Park. So let me know what you think to that down in the video comments. I'm Sean Sandbrook. Thanks for joining us for another review here on Theme Park Worldwide. And that means it's time to cue those credits. See you all in the next video.